So that's all they said so far.
You want to sanitize everything, you just wipe it somewhere. I did my own. So it said they did, but my desk was pretty dirty. Yeah.
Or five.
Couple minutes.
Five, did you hear what I said? Oh. No, thank you. I made, what did I make?
We got chicken?
No, beef and bean burrito. No chicken, sorry.
I like, the barbecue one, three certain places.
You like beef and beef.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I made dinner about 3 o'clock, so I wouldn't have to worry about it afterwards. Eat that. Did you happen to see it or anything?
I don't think so. Did you find it up there somewhere?
Thank you. Yeah, she called me and she asked me and
Hey, Jameson, warn me before you turn on the
I was
thingy.
gonna give one to the PD too.
Are we live? Who's live?
Yeah, we're on.
We are live.
You're like-
Yeah, 5 minutes.
you're like-
We have some pens, please.
So
I
when
don't
you
have
talk into
one.
Your microphone, right now it's on. See the red button, how it's.
Hola, hola.
Just like. before.
Oh, is it my turn today? Hello.
If you talk into it and turn your head, it won't register. So you have to hear it from the microphone to know that it's going on to, that they can hear you. Hello, Jamie.
Boy, look at that group. You guys are all ready to go.
You be ready.
We're waiting for you. Here, give me marks.
Oh, I got one. I have one in there. Thank you.
Everybody's got one.
Yeah, because of
What's
what
that?
Mark doesn't. I've been feeling
Mark
that.
doesn't, but-
Mine does not have a lid.
Yeah, you gave me like. What was it about? Is it grant or what?
Do you remember that,
Aurelia.
that letter I gave you from, was it the one to get active, something, something?
Hello, Chief.
Hello, Chief.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, through right here.
Try to put it up.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start this city council study session for Tuesday, February 9th. 21, sorry, at 6 p.m. There's not a lot to talk about tonight, so we're gonna discuss an ordinance 2021-1168, reaffirming the city official newspaper. It's on page 2021. Sylvia, did I get those copies of the last, and you made copies for me? I don't have them. Did I leave them on my desk?
Probably.
So it's for the Sunnyside Daily News. They're the ones we, put an ad asking everybody to submit a bid. Sunnyside Daily News submitted a bid, and they submitted the bid for the exact same amount as last year. It didn't go up, it didn't go down. And so, thank you, Celia. Oh yeah, it's right here. At least one. So last year it was 7.75 for each thing, and it's the same per inch, 7.75. So, and then the width column is the same. Everything's the same on it. If you guys, the new contract is actually page 21. And if you want to see the old one, I have it right here, if you want to just pass it through.
Just per inch, is that pictures, text, everything?
So, yeah, I do believe so. It's just per inch.
Have we still been getting it? Prior to this?
Yeah, it's always been 775. They're the ones that does like, anytime we change an ordinance, all the meetings that we have here, anything that needs publicized, they do all of that for us.
No, I'm saying, are we still receiving one? Paper.
Oh.
But that's completely different.
Yeah.
This is just for us to be able to
Advertise.
Just for advertising. Okay, I thought we were still getting one like on a daily or weekly basis.
Yeah, I think we do get it. Yeah, we do get it.
We still get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we have to keep it for our records. Yeah, we do get one. Here, you guys want to take a look? That's the old one. The new one is on page 21.
But everything's the same though.
Everything's the same.
Yeah.
So is everybody good with that? Do you have any questions on it?
No, I don't.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty much it. There's some things that we can go over if you want. I know that council member has a couple questions, and I guess this is a good time to do it since we have plenty of time on the record.
Denmark Point.
Do I need to put that on the record now? Just on the council, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Hello.
Do you guys have anything you want to talk about or?
I did. I just wanted to ask you, what happened with the gentleman with the license that's doing the mechanic out here going out of Mountain? What was ever done? Because I've seen him doing mechanic.
I'll let the chief answer that question.
I couldn't quite hear you.
I'm sorry. I wanted to know what happened with the gentleman that's doing the mechanic on the cars going out of Mountain.
Going out of Mab on First. He's been talked to. He hasn't been written an infraction for it, but he has been talked to. He's been told he's going to conduct a business. He needs to have a business license. And to my knowledge, he has not come in to get a business license yet. And I'm not sure if that would even be zoned for that. Even if
I've seen him out there doing mechanic. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. I can go back over there.
I have a question. I talked to Jameson about this, but I want us all to be on the same page with it, Jameson. With the cost of the opening and closing at the cemetery. If you could explain what you said to me, like I had actually he's a brother, but I shouldn't say that, but he came to pay for his opening and closing and was told he couldn't do that at this time. And my question kind of is, we've bought our plots before. Well, I already asked all this and it's been told to me. So I just want the other council people to know. I didn't understand why we could buy our plots, but we could pay for opening and closing. So Jamerson gave me an explanation for it. And I just think that we all should need to know it because I know that we get questioned a lot. about different things, and I like to know the right answer.
I can definitely go over that with you guys. So, for cemeteries, you can buy the plot ahead of time and you can pay for the ongoing maintenance of that plot. But you cannot purchase or you cannot pay for in advance the actual costs to perform a burial. Because those costs are based on the actual cost of labor and materials for the grave liner and the burial. So there are very, very few cemeteries that allow you to pay for those ahead of time outside of a funeral home or something that would offer like a insurance plan where you can pay towards it for a certain amount. But Sylvia actually did follow up with all of the other cities in our area that operate cemeteries as well, just to confirm. But it is correct that most cemeteries will not allow you to pay ahead of time for those burial fees. And a lot of that is because we can't accept payment for services that have not been completed. We would have to hold those funds in a separate fund, basically, until we had completed the actual services. And it just creates a big accounting problem. But on top of that, it also can be very confusing for families. You know, if somebody pays ahead of time for a cremation because that's what their plan was, but then when the time comes, they actually have a full casket burial. You know, there's differences in prices and services for all those things. So until we're actually ready to perform a burial service, we do not collect any of the actual burial fees. And the same goes for setting a headstone. You cannot pay for a headstone setting fee prior to actually ordering that headstone. And that's for the same reason. You know, you could tell us that you're going to get a flat, 12 by 24 standard headstone and pay that. But then when it actually shows up at the cemetery and it's a 3-foot wide upright, it causes problems for us to have to reach out to the families and try to collect the difference. Or you pay it ahead of time and we never receive a headstone. Your family never actually buys the headstone. We have to basically just hold on to that money in some fiduciary type fund until we actually perform those services. So it's just, it is not something that cities typically do. And I'm happy to answer any questions if it doesn't make sense.
No, it makes sense, but I think a lot of people just try to prepare all of that so their family members don't have to, because I've been put in that position many times. And
Yeah,
not a fun place to be, but after you explained it, I understand. Thank you.
no problem.
Anybody else have questions on that? Well, while we have some time, I'm gonna just bring this to you guys' attention. So, a couple of councils ago, maybe it was last council, I handed out some papers from MSRC on my wage deduction. I hope that you guys had a chance to read through those papers that was in your packet last week or last council meeting. There's some things that, as I started investigating, that I feel that the city needs to be aware. So that's why I put this stuff in here. And one of them is when you lowered my wages by RCWs and by the Constitution, you really shouldn't have done that. So I gave you guys last council all of these papers.
I didn't get one. I wasn't here.
I'll come here to you.
I got one, but we didn't talk about it last meeting, so I just put it to the side. I didn't bring it with me then.
Yeah, I had said if you guys could, go over these, because somebody had said the council before that, let's check with MSRC, let's check RCWs, let's see the rules, and for now, we're gonna keep you where you're at, and let's check them RCWs. So that's when I done that homework. And I brought it last council and said, I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to check your RCWs, opportunity to talk to MSRC, but I did. And this is what they gave me. And so I really want you guys to, we really need to discuss this.
Did the attorney talk to you about it?
Yes, I've spoken with the attorney. He has all of these documentations as well. And so I was really hoping that you guys would take the opportunity to read through this in the last 2 weeks. It pretty much states everything that I've been saying. And so since we do have time, I'll just go ahead and read. I'm going to go ahead and read what was sent to me by a woman by the name of Linda. I'm going to take this off so I can read better, but she works for MSRC, and I told her the situation, and she'd done some research and she got back to me. So I'll read what she put. I can't really read what I'm. So
I'm sorry, can I just remind the council to please speak into their microphones because we couldn't hear whatever Sophie just said at all.
just told me about my mask.
She should wear her mask.
Okay, so it says, the inquiry was whether city council is prohibited from lowering the mayor's wages after a salary increase designed by the council as temporary. The response that she gave me was this. As I indicated in our phone discussion, I recommend you further consult with your city attorney about the laws applicable to changing in mayor's compensation, especially with regards to a specific fact your city where the council has temporarily raised and now intends to decrease your salary. Here is the legal authorizations I found in my research. And this is the woman from MSRC, Linda. RCW 35.21.113. Provided the mayor and the members of the council may receive such salaries as the council may fix by ordinance. So this is a discussion for your town council. We note that Article 11, Section 8 of Washington Constitution prohibits any salaries increases or decreases after an election or during the term of official office for those officials who set their own salaries, which limits the ability for town councils to raise their own salaries during their current term. A mayor's salary, on the other hand, can be increased anytime, provided the mayor does not vote to break a tie on the proposed increase. Article 11, Section 8 of the Washington Constitution prohibits any salary increase or decrease after an election or during the term of office for those officials who set their own salaries. Accordingly, this prohibition only applies to city and county council members, county commissioners, and special district commissions. See Washington State Constitution, Article 30, Section 1. A mayor's salary, on the other hand, can be increased at any time because mayors do not set their own salaries, and provides a mayor does not vote to break a tie on the proposed increase. An elected official salary may not be decreased after his or her election or during their term of office. The Washington State Constitution, Article 11, Section 8 provides the salary of any county, city, town, or municipal officer shall not be increased except to provide in Section 1, Article, I'm thinking 30, or diminished after his election or during the term of office, nor shall the term of any such officer be extended beyond the period for which the election is appointed. For salary increases, Article 30, Section 1 provides the compensation of all elective and appointed state, county, and municipal officers who do not fix their own compensation, including judges of courts or records and the justice courts, may be increased during their terms of office, and to the end that such officers and judges shall each receive compensation for their services in accordance with the law in the effect at the time the service are being rendered. Provisions of Section 25 of Article 2, Amendment 35, Section 25 of Article 3, Amendment 31, Section 13 of Article 4, Section 8 of Article 6, and Section 1 of Article 28, Amended 20, in so far as they are constant here within are hereby replied. The city, I know it doesn't make much sense. Inconsistent. The city council may consider and decide to pass the salary increase for an elected or appointed official, such as a mayor during the official current term, only if the mayor or the other official does not have a role in setting the new salary. I have not found legal authority for a temporary increase in a mayor's salary, followed by a decrease after a certain period of time. Here is an excerpt from recent MRSC inquired response regarding this issue. RCW 35A 12.070 provides the relevant part. The salary of a mayor and the council members shall be fixed by ordinance and may be revised from time to time by ordinance. But any increase in the compensation attached to an office shall not be applicable to the term then being served by the incumbent. If such incumbent is a member of the city legislative body fixing his or her own compensation, or a mayor in a mayor council code casting a tie-breaking vote related to such ordinance, provided that if the mayor of such city does not cast such vote, his or her salary may be increased during his or her term of office. Similarly, Article 30, Section 1 of the Washington State Constitution provides that elected county, town, city, or municipal officers who do not fix their own compensation can have their salaries increased during their terms of office. Note that Article 6, Section 8 prohibits a city council from increasing or diminishing their own salaries after election or during their own term of office. This same section provides that the elected official salary, including the mayor's, may not be decreased during their term. So as far as the mayor is not casting a tie-breaking vote on a salary increase, the increase could be effective immediately if the council desires. The council should choose to further effect a further effective date in the term of how the council chooses to structure the mayor's salary. I think it was considerable discretion, so long as any arrangement does not amount in a decrease in salary. So that is what I got from Linda from MSRC. And then I was sent also this paper. And I gave you each a copy of this. And this is it's a article for salaries of elected officials from Paul Sullivan, dated April 12th, 2018. It says all kinds of stuff through this about all kinds of elected officials and county officials and stuff. But what I'm going to read to you is specifically for mayors. So the first part of it is right at the top where it says setting salaries. For most elected officials, salaries are set by their legislative body. A city council determines the salaries for its members and its mayors. And at the very bottom of that page, it says changes to salaries. And so the second page of that says, periodically, a legislative body may conclude that the salaries paid its elected officials should be changed and typically increased, Article 11, Section 8 of the Washington Constitution. However, prohibits any salary increase or decrease after an elected official, after an election and during the term of office to those officials who set their own salaries. Accordingly, prohibition only applies to cities and county council members, county commissioners, and special district commissioners. See Washington State Constitution, Article 30, Section 1. A mayor's salary, on the other hand, can be increased anytime, provided the mayor does not vote to break a tie on the proposed increase. An elected official's salary may not be decreased in any case after his or her election or during the term of the office. So that's what I want you guys to just think about, because we try very hard to stay within the laws, not break any of them. Sometimes we do unintentionally, and it puts us in a bad situation. So them are what I found for the increase in my salary and the decrease in my salary. Them are the laws and the RCWs and the Constitution that I found on it. I don't know if any of you have done any research for yourself or called MSRC or anything in the last month. This was brought to you, my wage, and how I felt that it was taken away illegally. It was brought to you in December, and now it's February, and I have heard nothing. So I just feel that we need to take care of this.
I thought this wasn't a salary, that it was a stipend.
That's what I was gonna say, thank you.
It was
You're
given,
mixing up salary versus stipend, and all you're telling is the MSRC is salary.
It's salary.
Salary.
And when you started work as a mayor, what were you getting? As a mayor, before you asked for a raise or anything?
I was getting 500 a month.
Okay.
Yes, and I come in expecting to work 12 hours a week.
But the other mayors didn't work 12 hours.
You ran for mayor expecting to work 10 hours a week?
Yes, 10 to 12 hours a week. That's what I was always told. That's what I was told many times.
Who were you told by? Who told you that?
The
Did
person
you
that
ask
really,
the mayor who was here before how many hours a week he put in?
the mayor here before me, as you know, on the record, did not like me at all. So me and him had no discussions, period. I mean, even after I was voted in mayor, I still wasn't able to even come into this building until January 2nd. I mean,
Okay, so like Diane asked you, who told you 10 hours, 10, 12 hours a week?
Who told you that?
it was at my business that I had, and it was a council member that's no longer with us, one that really, really wanted me to be here. And I'm almost positive that at that same time you was sitting there with her. Both of you was there.
Me?
Mhm.
Well, I probably know who it is. I really, really wanted you, but I never said 10 to 12 hours a week.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I was told, 10 to 12 hours a week.
so was your raise, was that the time that we gave you, it wasn't a raise, stipend? And I don't know, Jamie probably can answer that, the difference between a stipend and salary. I don't know if there is one, I'm just curious. But was that the time that we gave you that stipend was because you were working at the wastewater treatment plant? It wasn't
Yes,
for
it
more
was.
hours? When was it? When was
The
it?
wastewater treatment plant actually gave me money. You actually paid me. It only paid me for half of the time I was there. I was there for like 13 weeks. I got paid for like 7 of those weeks. And that was an actual pay.
So when was your raise that you're talking about given to you?
The stipend was given to me July 2019 and taken back away from me December 2019.
And that wasn't because of the
No.
wastewater?
No,
What was the reasoning? Do you remember? Does anybody, I'd like to hear the minutes myself.
and we can definitely do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would like to hear
the thing
exactly
is
what our
this-
discussion was, because I don't know, Jim, you remember, maybe you can shine light on it for us. I know we had discussed the fact that can we, because we were concerned about other mayors coming in, but then that answers that too, what Laura read, that if we would have to start them at the same wage that we were giving her,
Right.
and oh, we wouldn't at that time, if I remember right.
I haven't been, or I didn't realize this was going to be on the council meeting tonight. I didn't see it on the agenda, but I'm prepared to address the issue. And I'll walk you through what my review was and what my opinion is in respect to the claim. The mayor provided me with all of the materials that she has shown you. I called and had a conference call with Linda Gallagher, who's the executive director at MRSC. We went through that, and we went through the specifics of the salary change or compensation change for the mayor. I also reviewed all of the resolutions in which there was a change, and the first one was in July of 2019 that gave her an additional compensation up to a point of $1,700 a month. That was set for 6 months. The specific purpose for that was because of a shortage in employees and the extra time she was providing to the city. The rules are, first, that the mayor or any council member cannot also be an employee of the city at the same time that they are acting in an elected capacity. What was done at that point is there is an exception to the rule that allows the council to provide additional compensation to an elected official who provides work that is necessary or in lieu of employment work. So what was done was the work and the extra money was authorized through a sequence of 2 statutes that allow compensation to be increased by $1,500 a year or a month with a maximum of $18,000 for the entire year. What was done for the mayor was an increase from $500 to $1,700 for roughly a 6-month period. That was authorized because the maximum that could have been compensated for that period would have been an extra $1,500, and it was raised by $1,200. So it's not $1,500 total, it's $500 plus what you did. That was the decision of the council. The council was absolutely clear that that was a 6-month increase based upon employee situations. That was proper. It was also proper that it end. It can continue. You lowered it because the level wasn't as much. Those are all proper. There was no change in the mayor's stipend. All there was is compensation to fill in for the employees. What was done, in my judgment and opinion, was in accordance with the law and was applicable. Linda Gallagher at MRSC agreed with me on that. So she's the one that I walked it through, and she walked it through with me. She's actually the one who had highlighted those provisions. There hasn't been a reduction in the salary for the mayor that she was brought in at when she was elected, which was $500. That's remained in place. I want to be careful how I say some of these things, so let me say it slowly. I believe that if the mayor thinks that there's a valid basis for additional compensation, that she should have her legal counsel, as we've talked about before, make a demand on the city and take the position. We can take that to WCIA and have it reviewed. Well, let me say 2 things. I think that the mayor was working hard. I don't question that. It's the same conversation we had about Mario when he asked for exactly the same thing. I thought the council's decision was consistent with what you can do legally. I thought it was appropriate to put it at a 6-month period, see how you were doing with employment, and make decisions on how you carried forward. There was never, ever, ever any decision made by the council that was a permanent salary change. The council made that decision for a 6-month period based on exigent circumstances. I think that's appropriate. I am troubled to some degree that where that compensation was fixed for 6 months, Mayor, that you're now taking a position that was really not 6 months, which is what the council decided, but it was for the full duration of your elected tenure. I think what was done was appropriate. I stand by what we did. That's my opinion. If there's a different opinion an attorney wants to make, or the claim that wants to be filed with the city, then file it with the city, and we'll value it or evaluate it like we would any other claim filed against the city.
So Jamie, is a stipend different than a salary?
No, compensation's compensation.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I disagree a little bit because I completely remember the conversation that we had when my stipend was raised. And it was, we will come back and revisit this in December and see how you're doing and what you're doing. And we'll go from there. In
On
December,
that point, I would urge the council members, and maybe Jameson can make it available to you, or Sylvia, read your resolutions. They're all available. And I think if you read the resolutions, it's clear what was going on.
Yeah, I'd like to see how they read.
okay, well, so that's where I stand. And, you know, I have been told by Jamie to get my attorney involved, and I just don't want to have to do that to the city. It's going to cost the city a lot of money. It's going to cost me money, but if we can't get it resolved any other way, then that's, I guess, the end of this conversation with you as the council on this.
Well, I guess we sit in a hard place too, Laura, because we're listening to our legal advisor. And myself, I'm only gonna speak for myself. I could read this RCWs that you're reading to me, and I probably wouldn't get an answer out of it, one way or the other. So that's why we go to Jamie or to whoever's our legal counsel, so that we can have an understanding put before us. And so I think it kind of puts us in a hard spot. We're doing what we said I mean, he's telling us we did okay. So, you know, I don't know how I feel.
That's how I feel too.
And all I know is I'm still working.
My opinion is based on what the law is.
Right.
I was honest as you went through that, and I didn't disagree with the request the mayor made under the circumstances. And I think I even supported and spoke to the question about the need to fill the gaps because we were down employees and she was having to help out at the wastewater facilities. She was having to do a lot of things that were beyond. So I think that what was done was right. I think the increase that you decided on was right, but I think you have the right to say this is going to be a 6 month filler, and then we're going to see where we're at. And that's exactly what occurred. You could have easily said, you were elected at $500. You're the mayor, you have to do the job. But I think you were generous in recognizing that and providing some additional compensation under what were unusual circumstances at the time.
Maybe we can go over our resolutions, all of us as council, just, you know, to refresh our memories and make, you know, what we did say and how we did say it. But I was thinking it was at the time that she was at the wastewater treatment plant.
But it wasn't. It
Yes,
happened
I
a year
believe
later.
that's when it was at the plant.
Oh, it happened a year later. I wasn't given the raise until June, or actually it started July 1 of 2019, and I was at the wastewater plant April, May, June of 2018, a whole year
Yeah.
before that point.
A year? I don't
Then the
think,
answer to that is the council violated the law by giving you the raise. If the raise wasn't based upon a shortage of employees and the need to fill those positions, you shouldn't have gotten a raise at all.
That's why you got the raise, 'cause you-
So if we're talking questions on legality, that would be the response to what you just said. I happen to think there was a shortage at the time, and the resolution clearly says that was the reasoning.
yes, because I
The
remember.
other thing that occurred as you went through time, the city was able to restaff and repopulate your employee workforce. So the reasoning that supported the raise became less significant as time passed.
That was our reason for the 6 months, because we figured by then we'd have that position filled, if I remember right. And
do
like I said,
remember that.
I wanna read and make sure if I remember right. but- And we
You
didn't
recall
give it
that,
to you
Mary?
right away. I remember that.
And it didn't go completely away either, just was lowered again for 6 months. And
'Cause
I
when
think
we
after
gave
the
it to
6
her, it
months,
wasn't-
Then you decided to vote for the rest of the term, and that's how it stayed.
Just FYI, I just want to break in there. I am searching right now in the document server to get these ordinances up so I can put them on the screen for you. So just bear with me for a moment.
Thank you, Jameson.
Jameson, can you pull them from the email that you guys sent me when you provided me those documents, or Sylvia did? That might be another option.
Okay, well, while we're pausing for the ladies to do that, let me tell you a couple of other things that's going on. The cemetery, we put in a new pedestrian gate and stuff there. It's on the main entrance of the cemetery. So we will start locking the gates again at night, starting probably this Friday. But there is a pedestrian walk and a pedestrian sign and everything. The chief went out yesterday, took a picture of it, put it up on the police, his Facebook. So it's out there in the public already, so the public knows that. I wanted to wait to lock it until we come and I officially let you guys know that there is now a pedestrian gate out there.
I went out last week and looked at it, checked it out. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and today yesterday they put in like this sidewalk and stuff. And then this summer we'll put cement down on it, but just it's so cold right now, we don't want to have it crack. So, but it looks really good. It looks really nice out there.
I think, they're gonna fix the fence down at the, on the north end of the cemetery where those cars hit it.
Hopefully. There's really not any money in the cemetery fund right now, but we do have the thing for this, for the cemetery committee. And this year, that's what I'm gonna work on quite a bit is we do have a cemetery committee. We do have a historical society. We do have a parks committee. You guys have voted all that in, so we can get those things started. And so that's what I'm really gonna work on this year is just filling the committees. So it can just
Do you
keep
want to
processing.
talk to the rest of the council about the church?
Oh, that's a good idea.
See what their opinion is.
Okay, so us here in the city is in the middle of a little dilemma. And I wanted to bring it to you guys and have you guys tell me what you think. So the old St. Luke's Church on Fifth Street over here, the owner of that building wants to donate that building to the city. And there's some yes, goods and bads about each side. But we really wants to have you guys' opinion on it. So the gentleman wants to donate the building to us. And I don't know how many is aware, but the city of Mapton, well, not the city of Mapton, but members of Mapton started quite a few years back an organization called the Historical Society. The Historical Society started raising money for the organization to help historical things here in Mapton to bring them up or whatever. Not real, I wasn't part of any of that. Right.
To keep them up.
And so back in that time, the same gentleman, there was some stuff that church was going to be a museum. And so they started raising this money for that church to become.
Actually, could I explain where the money
Yeah,
came
please.
from?
Because Vera is part of it. So
The old high school at that time got sold. Well, they had already placed a place or had designated a place in the old school for the Historical Society's museum. Well, when they sold it and that didn't happen, they actually gave that money to the Historical Society. So they got the money from the purchase, part of it, I think. They divided it between a few people anyway, or a few organizations. So that's where the money came from. The Historical Society has from the sale of that school.
it's right around between $30,000 and $40,000 that they have there. And so the thought was to get the old St. Luke's, use that money to restore what needs to be restored in it, and then start renting it out for people. They can have quinceañeras, weddings, baptisms, and stuff like that in it. But what I don't want it to be is just a dead building, a building that we have and we own and just sits there and does nothing. Because all that is just not okay for us. We're paying insurance, we're paying, all this stuff on buildings that we have now that just sit there, that give us no help. And so, so I'd like to hear your input on getting the church, if it's something that you want to do as council. I think this is something that we need to decide as a team.
And I know that it was mentioned to us, I think, at the last meeting, that the insurance would be higher if it was a historical site, but it won't be.
Yeah,
It's not considered historical anymore from different things that's happened.
Yeah.
Once a building gets altered in any way with structure, it loses that value. And it lost a wall.
But if it
So-
ever gets restored, then it would be historical.
Well, they can't restore it, so because that back wall blew out in that big storm, windstorm, and they put a new wall completely in, so that took it. And it has to have 2 doors in it in order for us to do anything with it. So once you put a second door in it, that would take it away too, so. We won't have to pay that high. That would have been a high insurance to have to pay.
The monies to restore it would come from the Historical Society, and to put like, it needs a new porch on the front, a new roof on the top of the porch, and we'd have to put a second door in it to use it for public, because there has to be 2 exits.
And a restroom.
And the historic society is willing to put up the money to restore it, and then,
We don't know. We were gonna have a meeting, but we
Oh.
have these different pros and cons, and we wanna, it's not up to Laura and I, it's not up to the city, it's up to, that's why we wanna come to all the council to get opinions and,
Yeah, I want to know what you guys think
And then we'll-
that we should do as a city.
we'll have a meeting with them.
So if we would keep it, what would happen to it?
It would turn into hopefully some place that could be rented for weddings, for,
It's too
Stuff, I
small
mean, it
to
is a
have
church.
something like that, isn't it?
No.
Too small to have,
Not if you just, it's just a small church. but you can't just use a room without-
Not to interrupt, but I do have those documents if you guys wanted to switch gears back, or we can wait.
Well, we're just discussing this because we have the time, Jamerson.
And I'd really like you guys' opinion, because the guy's sort of on the wall right now.
Give me an idea right now to talk to that pastor. I don't know, maybe they're still looking for a church. Maybe they could make it into a church. There you go.
Great, brother.
Well, and it is still certified as a church.
Okay.
Still got the
Anyway,
church
see
title.
if he's interested.
I think if the historical society is gonna put up the money to restore it, then maybe they should keep it for their museum.
if we can get enough people. in the
Because I don't
city.
think they're gonna wanna pay them to restore it and then let the city use it for rentals and not the museum.
Well, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
here, because honestly, the staff here at the city don't feel we need to take that building on. And
Well, if we need a museum, I think that would be a perfect place for the museum. Maybe we should take it on, but let the historical society restore it and use it for the museum. And pay, still keep us, I
You
don't
still
know.
have to put
Our
the
biggest
doors in.
problem, real quick, because Jamerson's waiting for us, is that the president of the Historical Society and the gentleman that wants to donate the building are at odds. And he's not going to donate that building to that gentleman.
No, donate it to the city, and the city, doesn't the city own the library?
Yes.
We could own the museum building, just have the museum there.
Yeah, well, we can discuss it later. I think Jameson's waiting for us, but just
Fine.
think about it for now and.
I have a
Okay.
question. I want to know who's in charge of the water bill for the, who's been paying the food bank water bill?
food bank does.
Who does?
The food bank pays their own water bill.
Pay their own bill.
Yeah.
Okay, all yours, Jamerson.
Okay. I believe you should be seeing on your screen ordinance 2018-1120, is that correct?
Yes.
And actually, I'm going to scroll down because this is the first one, 2018-1119. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know if Jamie, you want to walk them through the ordinance? You're muted, Jamie.
Read the recitals. The mayor has been appointed or required to perform additional extraordinary service and furtherance of municipal functions and operations, including but not limited to assistance at the wastewater facility and additional administrative responsibilities regarding municipal operations and services. Additional assistance and work is required on a temporary and interim basis in order to address labor shortages and regulatory requirements. City determines it appropriate to temporarily increase the mayor's monthly stipend to $1,460 for the period commencing July 16, 2018 and ending August 31, 2018. Or the hiring and commencement of work by employees required to staff the wastewater treatment plant. So it was specifically designed to address a shortfall in staffing and regulatory requirements with respect to that. It's
So that-
for a specific time.
And that was the first one. And then our wastewater employee was hired shortly after that. And so then you guys changed it to this ordinance, 2018-1120. And it looks like our wastewater employee was hired on 9/9/2018. And this was passed on August 16th. So it was less than a month when this one was passed, before when we hired a wastewater person.
Okay, and then can you show us the other one for, it should be in June of 2019?
Yes. So hold on one second, let me get those. Let me figure out which one I need to go to here. I think it is
So this one here,
this
those,
one.
the new one, so this one ended?
Well, all of
This-
these ones replaced the previous one.
This is
So,
when I was working at wastewater. And you paid me like 1 month's worth of wages for the time I was out there for like 3.5 months. So it was approved and then taken back away, like as soon when we hired Gordon as it was supposed to be.
So then this one, do you guys see 2019-1138? I can't see what it's showing you guys on your screen, so
Yes.
it should say on section 1, temporary stipend increase, the stipend payable to the mayor as compensation for services provided in such capacity is temporarily set to $1,700. So that's when it went up to $1,700. Effective June 1st and terminated on December 31st, 2019.
And again, it was intended to address labor shortages and regulatory requirements.
So this one sunsetted on December 31st, 2019. Is that correct, Jamie, no matter what the
Yes.
council would have done?
That's right.
Okay, so then there's one other one.
And I didn't see that because if I would have seen that, I would have asked for it to be reread because at the actual council, it said that they would revisit that December and see if what would happen with that. So I really think that we need to pull the minutes from this conversation and bring it back to council at the next council.
Okay, I think we have those
Because
minutes too.
December,
So,
there was no
After that.
revisit. In December, it was, we're taking our money away and period. We don't have to pay anymore and we're taking away. There was no talk at all in December 2019 about what I'm doing, what I've accomplished, what I planned on doing the following year, any of that. It was just automatically taken. And I didn't sign this, so I didn't read it. So where it says it's stopping in December 31, 2019, on the record, it said you would revisit it and see if I should still be getting it. And there was no revisit. And that's where I'm at with it.
okay, and then
Because
there's
I'm
an
still doing
additional
something like
ordinance,
that
this
now.
one here. 2019-1153. So this one went into effect January 1st, 2020. And this put the stipend at $1,000 per month, effective January 1, 2020, and terminated at the end of the mayor's term.
So it was reviewed at that time, and based on the labor status and that sort of thing, it was determined for that period that it would be $1,000, and that one does extend to the end of the term. So that resolution establishes that supplemental stipend through the end of her term.
We went back and forth so much on this, a lot. And at that last meeting, when we gave the 1,000, that's when I was sick of it. Going back and forth, taking it, giving it, taking it, whatever. And I remember we did have a pretty lengthy conversation about it, Laura, because there was some disagreement.
Here's the minutes from December 11th of 2018. And, oh, there it was. It was discussed here on section F. So do you guys want me to read this or do you want to read it yourself?
We can't see it, Jameson.
You can barely see it. Okay. So it says, mayor's stipend increase not originally on agenda. It was at this time that the mayor presented a letter to council requesting an increase in her stipend. She provided information from other cities and what they make, stating that Mabton is nowhere near what other cities this size are being paid. She said that she understands the city's financial situation, so she is not asking for what mayors in other cities are receiving, but just enough to support her family and spend full time here, which is what is needed in the position. Councilmember Gorneau stated that although he thought the position itself did warrant a little bit of an increase, being that they are the lowest paid around, he did not think that it was anything close to the amount that the mayor was suggesting. Councilmember Gorneau went on further to say that he did not appreciate the mayor calling him to discuss the issue outside of the meeting. He stated that the time for this discussion was during the meeting and no other time. Councilmember Zavala also disagreed with an increase. Zavala stated that after the mayor's actions with previous management, She would never be comfortable with giving her any more money. So let me get the next one. So that was just the discussion. And let me find the minutes from when it was actually, you actually passed the $1,000. So just a moment.
What was the date on this one again?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The date of this meeting here,
The
discussion?
date of this meeting was, I believe, December 8th. Oh, December 11th, sorry, 2018. So let me find the December 2019 meetings. Hold on one second. December 23rd, 2019. Sorry, I have it in front of me. I just have to find the document now. September. Okay, here's January 8th, 2019. Let me pull this one up. Okay, so let's see. New business.
It should be
Oh, there,
sometime in June of 2019.
oh, okay, so I missed one. So let me try and find that.
What about the stipend right there? It was denied.
Yeah, that was January.
Okay, this one is June 11th, 2019. I'm sorry, I haven't read these. I just have them tabbed. So this one's June 11th. Staff reports. I don't see anything in here about,
Try the second one of June.
of June. Okay, hold on one second. June 11th. Can you guys see this Word document? I can't tell what you're looking at.
So it says September 24th, 2019.
Okay, so I have to figure out how to share this other screen. Sorry. Just a moment. This doesn't, so this is the second June meeting. No, it doesn't mention it here, so sorry. There's no point in sharing that.
Okay, so if you guys want like copies of any of those You have them actually in your old council packets, but if you want copies of them, Jameson can get those for you, or Sylvia.
Yeah. We can maybe continue this in the council meeting since we're after 7.
Let's go ahead and adjourn this meeting, please. So we're gonna go ahead and adjourn this study session, February 9, 2021 at 7:02.